We currently have several scan station point clouds that are not correctly referenced to the survey station data. To match these together, you can use the Scan Registration tool in TBC. This command is located under the Point Cloud tab. By selecting the Scan Registration command, a new set of view windows are displayed. The first window in the upper left-hand corner is for the reference scan. This is the point cloud you are stitching other point clouds to. As your reference scan has more point clouds compared to it, the size and density will increase. The window in the upper right is called the moving scan. This displays the scan you want to match to the reference scan. In the bottom, you can see the registration results window, which displays the outcome of matching the reference and moving stations. The reference scan is shown as red and the moving scan as green. All three views are three-dimensional, which allows for panning around and visualizing the points in an efficient manner. The display color of these scans in the registration results window can be changed in the user options, which will be shown later. Some users prefer to change their background color of the project to white when working with point clouds. This option is located on the bottom tab. To better visualize your point cloud data, you can use the rendering options to change how the points are displayed. True color shows the scan's color relative to the images captured in the field. Because I stopped the colorization process during the import, the clouds are displayed as default gray. If I switch the rendering to scan color, TBC assigns each individual scan a color. You can also choose region color as a rendering setting, which will color each point cloud region differently. Another option is to use the intensity-based rendering. Many users prefer this option as it displays key features in distinct colors, and you can determine which features in the two scans that you're registering match based on the intensity. The registration command window contains three tabs. The first tab, Pairwise Registration, is where scans are matched and stitched together. The first drop-down box lets you select your reference station. Here you can see there's already a grouping of scans. These are the survey stations. One way to differentiate between survey and scan stations is the lettering displayed in brackets next to the station ID. S represents survey stations and Q for scan stations. You can also choose to use or remove stations in the reference scan. In the drop-down below, there is a box for choosing the moving station as well. Users can only select non-survey stations as moving stations as the survey station is considered registered. This is because the survey station is orientated based on the total station orientation. Once you have selected your reference and moving stations, you can choose to automatically register the pair or use pick point pairs between the two scans for a more detailed registration. In this project, I'm going to use the scan registration command to register all the scan stations into one group and then register that scan station group to the existing survey station group. So first I'll select a scan station in my reference station window and then I can begin. TBC searches point clouds for like features between the two scan pairs and uses this to perform a best fit between the two scans. First, I will perform the registration by automatic means using two scan stations. You can see that these two scans fit together fairly well using the automatic registration option. Panning around in the 3D view, we'll look for some distinct objects to compare our registration results. It's always important to visualize the registration results first. I'm going to look at the wall of this building as it's a flat planar surface that will give a good tell of our registration. You can see that the points from the red and the green scans both line up quite well. There are results displayed at the bottom of the command window for your registration. It is highly recommended that you visually check your registration and do not take the resulting numbers displayed here as a sign of good or bad registration. This button allows users to change the tolerance thresholds for residual error and overlap. After visually checking my registration, I am satisfied with the results and will press Add to Reference at the bottom of the window. This creates a new scan group, including the reference and moving scan pair. I have been able to perform automatic registration with several of the scan stations with good results. This will not always be the case. Sometimes you will have poor results. As you can see here, we have poor residual and overlap error. And by visualizing the scans, you can see that they do not line up. One way to remedy this is to pick point pairs in the two scan images. This helps the scan engine to perform the registration by assisting in the stitching of the 2 point clouds. First, we need to pick one discrete point that is common in the 2 point cloud scans. I'm going to select one of the building corners for a point pair as it is a very discrete feature. When picking point pairs, Trimble Business Center aligns the scans relative to the point pairs picked. The more point pairs you pick, the better pairing TBC will be able to perform. Once I've selected my picked locations, TBC automatically performs the registration since Auto Align is selected. After the registration is complete, I want to visually inspect the results. A good tell is looking at the building wall. You can see that the green and red point cloud points align quite well along the wall. The 2 buttons next to the coordinates of the point pair allow users to center over the picked point pair in the reference and moving window, and the second is to delete the point pair. Once you have picked your point pair, you can also select the Optimize Pair Registration button. What this does is performs a simple refinement on the picked point pair registration and can help to better the results of the picked point registration. Now that I have all my scan stations registered as one point cloud group, I can register these to the survey station group. This will give me one densified point cloud grouping. To do this, I'll select the survey stations as a reference station and the scan stations as a moving station, and I'll choose the automatic registered pair as there is sufficient overlap in this project to perform a sufficient registration using the automatic means. Once this is computed, I can view my residual and overlap error and visualize in the registration results to see if the proper registration was performed. And once I'm happy with this, I can add to reference, and now my scans are in one singular registered group. Next, I'll perform the overall refinement. Once your registration is finished, there is an option to perform an overall refinement on the registered point clouds. This command performs the finishing touches on your registration. It allows you to fix one or more of the survey stations to perform the refinement. I'll choose to fix all the survey stations and press Refine. Once the overall refinement is performed, a report showing the results is displayed. In this report, information on the cloud-to-cloud residuals as well as the scan-to-scan residuals and overlap is displayed. You can also plot or save this report as a PDF, Word document, or Excel spreadsheet. There's also another tab in the scan registration command called georeferencing. This will be demonstrated in another workflow video. Moving out of the registration command, back to the 3D and plan view, you can see that the scans are now matched together and we can proceed with creating deliverables from these scans.